No, what about your own wife? What do you do with your wife? Would you allow her out? Would you even be seen in public with her?
My wife, her pastime is bridge, Neil.
And you like that? You do your own little thing and she does her.
Oh, I play bridge with her on occasions, yes.
You do?
I do, yes. She plays 3 nights a week, actually.
You wouldn't take her to the golf club or anything?
No, it's no place for women. You see, if you look at it, the average woman has a 36 handicap in golf. We men, our average is 12. Therefore, if you were to subtract the difference, we're giving him a shot and a half a hole, which just proves my point that there's...
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I don't know you nor the sky under you, or sky above you, I should say, but you were on the wireless when I was away for a week, I'm told.
Yes, I was talking to Mick Mulcahy about, he read out a letter and I just rang in response to it, and it seems to have caused a whole lot of confusion.
You were the guy who was saying that the minute a woman gets married or dons the wedding dress, that she turns into some kind of an antichrist or something like that.
Viper. They do. It's a positive.
A viper.
Like, I'll just give you my background again. I'm married, I have 2 grown-up kids, I have my own business, and I mean, for the purposes of this conversation, my name is John Harris, and I'm not foolish to assume that I could really get away with giving you my real name, but the story, as I told it, was true, except for the fact that my wife was in Portugal, now she was abroad, but I have a girl in Dublin, she's 23 years of age, she's a student above in Dublin, and we have a great time, but I was quite upset by the way that listeners rang in, and I mean, some people refer to all these old biddies ringing in, complaining, saying that I was coughed up in a labour ward years ago, that I had kinky fantasies, that I belonged in a zoo, and that the student was creaming off me, and in actual fact she's not. Now we're giving one another pleasure, and the Civic is in my name, you know?
You're losing your mind.
I'm not losing my mind.
Wait a minute, you've got it what? A student in Dublin who's your lover?
Well, yes.
I assume you've given her a Civic motor car, you're telling me?
Well, she needs something to get around in, you know? I mean, I can't expect kind of, you know, to have a relationship with a woman without sharing. No, I'm not vastly wealthy, but I can afford to you know, give her a little runabout.
And it doesn't bother you, or you don't think you're doing any wrong to your wife or anything like that?
But, I mean, you see, that's the whole problem with people today. They're locked into a box, and they're not looking at the greater scheme of things, the greater picture. Like all those old biddies now that rang up the last time complaining, they were criticising me, and one woman, in fact, she criticised me. And in the same breath, she said she hoped that my wife was doing a Shirley Valentine out in Portugal. Now, there's double standards, you know what I mean?
Well, that's true. That's true.
But, I mean, if you look at the greater scheme of things, I'm happy, my wife is happy. Like women, as I said to your colleague the last time, when they get that gold on their finger, if something goes into their veins, you best have a woman when she's playing the field. For a period of time in a woman's life, she's playing the field, and that's the time to have them when they're ripe and nubile. Then they put their eye on a man, and it's just material things then matter to them. And once the gold goes on the finger, they breathe fire. They're like fire-breathing dragons from that on, and they make man's life a misery.
I can't believe this, because you surely don't think all women are like that.
Well, look, I tell you, you mightn't believe me, but you know of John B. Keane, an eminent writer, a national institution, and John B. and it's poignant actually that you're advertising the show above in the Everyman Palace. This Big Maggie is coming in.
Yeah.
I saw that play, and I tell you, I cracked up because John B. put his finger on the hammer. He typifies women. That Big Maggie was a hardened old bitch. She drove her husband to drink, drove him out of the house. Now she married him for money, she married him for the shop and the farm. She drove him out the door, she drove the sons out the door after it, and 2 daughters. 2 sons, 2 daughters, and the husband out, and she had the lot to herself.
Yeah.
A hardened old bitch, that's all she was. And John B. typifies it for me, and if you don't believe me, go up and see it yourself. I tell you, you'll break your arse laughing, and it just typifies it, and if you don't laugh, I'll pay for your tickets. I'll tell you that much now for nothing. It just typifies the whole outlook on women, and he put his finger on it.
Wait a minute, because people were accusing you of being, wait a while. If people don't understand what I'm talking about by now, they never will. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Neil.
How are you?
I'm very well, Neil. Actually, I'll tell you a funny thing there now that you were on there. I was listening to your programme earlier about travel. Today is my 30th wedding anniversary, and Dorothy and myself went to Benidorm back in '67 when we got married, Neil. Now, it was most unusual to go abroad, but the weather was fantastic, Neil. But, you know, I was playing a lot of rugby at the time, and of course, being red-blooded, we spent the most of the fortnight between the sheets. When we got back to the airport, my father, God rest him now, Popsy we always call him, was there at the airport waiting to pick us up. And the first thing he said to me, my God, you've got no colour at all, you know? And I was like a pull-through for a rifle, Neil, to tell you the truth.
A pull-through for a
rifle, yes. And Neil, he said, we had got no colour at all. So been thinking fast on my feet. I said to him, well, blast it never stopped raining for the period of time we were there, you know. And poor old Doherty, she blushed up so much that her face was like a traffic light. We adjourned up to the bar for a few jars, and Doherty went to the toilet, and he put his hand on my shoulder and a twinkle in his eye, and he said to me, you're a chip off the old block. And I can tell you, Neil, I had a great fortnight's honeymoon, and it wouldn't have concerned me in the slightest if I was diverted anywhere once I had the old bed.
But you seem to be, just like John Harris is here, somewhat demeaning to women.
Well, you know, Neil, I think... Well, I know now that this is a very, very hard thing to say, but some women, when they get into the 50 bracket, you know, put them down, I'd say. Put them down.
Well, I'd be inclined to agree with you there in that, because, as I said, they start breathing fire. I don't know what happens with their hormones, but once they have their children and they have their material things, once they're comfortable in the nest, then they start breathing fire, you know?
So, yeah.
Do you play any bit of golf, John, yourself?
I do, actually, yes.
Yeah, do you find women there down, you know, in the golf clubs, my golf club in particular, and I got abused over this last week, actually, but I find that they're only there for one thing, and that's for men.
Well, actually, I found out. Well, I know I've met a few ladies on the course now myself, a few young ones, nubile girls again, and they were on the prowl, and even some of the married ones are on the prowl. But my God, I'd stay away from married women. But and even I wouldn't fancy doing any business on my own doorstep. Dublin is the place for me, but as regards golf clubs, that's what they're out on the golf club. They're hunting, they're eyeing up and down the talent. They're inside in the bar. They make a bloody mess of the whole bloody lot because once you get a gaggle of women together, it's impossible to even hear a conversation, you know, at 10 yards between ourselves, you know what I mean?
Well, no, John, not all women are like that, but the vast majority of them are. I mean, in fairness, no, I've been happily married for 30 years, and I haven't strayed. I have chased, but not strayed.
Oh, you mean you just haven't got lucky, you're saying?
No. I actually know, as I speak, I know that Doherty is listening to this program because she's getting her hair done, and she always listens when the hairdresser's there to the thing in the salon. And I can tell you, I have been tempted. Let's be very honest. I'm hale and hearty, and I have been tempted, but I have never strayed.
Well, I'll give you one bit of advice now, and even though your wife is listening, I'm sure she'd be open-minded enough in this day and age. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of a flirt or even a little bit of a fling with the woman, you know? I mean, once you can come home for your dinner in the evening, I mean, you can look at the menu, and there's nothing wrong with sampling the menu elsewhere either. You know what I mean? They just have, love is different things. I mean, I love my car, but I'm not going to jump in